Well, hello and welcome to the Clue Bird. I'm your host, R. Wayne Browne. There's a voice that follows you everywhere. It often speaks during difficult moments, during quiet moments, during moments when nobody else is around. And over time, whether you believe it or not, you begin to believe it. The way you speak to yourself matters more than most people understand. Because eventually, the voice you hear most often, yours, becomes the voice that shapes you. This is the Clue Bird, whispering sage advice for those willing to listen. Most people pay close attention to what others say about them, but very few pay attention to what they say about themselves. And yet, that quiet internal conversation is happening all day long, every day. I'm not good at this. I always mess things up. Gee, I probably fail anyway. Why bother? Hey, small phrases repeated quietly, but repetition is powerful because your mind listens when you think it isn't. I remember early in my flying career, there were moments when mistakes felt enormous. Even the small ones, you replay them in your head afterwards again and again. And if you weren't careful, that inner voice could become harsh very quickly. Oh, you should have done that better. You're not ready for this. Maybe you're just not cut out for it. And on and on. Now here's the dangerous part. When that voice keeps repeating long enough, you start flying tense, second guessing yourself, overthinking simple decisions. Not because your skills disappeared, but because your confidence slowly eroded under the weight of your own thinking. But experienced flight instructors understood something important. You learn more from calm correction than constant self-punishment. So instead of saying, I'm terrible at this, you need to say something like, that's something I need to improve on. One destroys confidence and the other one builds growth. And over time, that difference changes everything. The same thing happens in everyday life as well. I know. Most people would never speak harshly to someone they care about, yet many speak to themselves that way every day, all day. I remember hearing a buddy once. He was trying to learn a new skill. Nothing dramatic, just something unfamiliar to him. And every small mistake was immediately followed by criticism. I'm terrible at this. I can't do anything right. This is hopeless. Ugh. On and on. And after a while, you could actually see the effect on him. His shoulders tightened, energy dropped, not because the task became impossible, but because the voice inside him had already decided for him failure was coming. Then something changed. A friend beside him said quietly, maybe stop talking to yourself like you're the enemy. Boy, the room went silent because deep down, they knew it was true. And little by little, the language changed slowly. Not fake positivity, not pretending things were easy, just more honest, more patient. Instead of, I'm terrible at this, they started saying, I'm still learning this. And slowly their frustration eased, their confidence returned, their progress improved, not because the challenge disappeared, but because the voice guiding them had changed. That's something people often overlook. Your mind comes to believe what it hears repeatedly, especially when it comes from you. Now, this doesn't mean you ignore mistakes. No, growth requires honesty. Accountability matters. But there's a difference between correcting yourself and tearing yourself apart. One creates growth and the other creates fear. And fear makes people hesitate, shrink, avoid trying altogether. So pay attention to the way you speak to yourself, especially during difficult moments. When you fail, when you struggle, when things don't go smoothly, because those are the moments when your inner voice becomes the strongest. And then ask yourself, would I speak this way to someone I care about? If the answer is no, maybe it's time to change the conversation with you. Not softer, not dishonest, just wiser. Because the goal isn't perfection. The goal is to build a voice inside yourself that helps you continue growing instead of convincing you to stop. A voice that says, "You made a mistake, now learn from it. You're struggling, but you're still capable. This is difficult, but difficulty doesn't mean defeat. I can do this. I'm still in the game." That kind of voice builds resilience. So here's your clue. The voice you repeat inside yourself eventually becomes the life you believe you deserve. Choose it carefully, because every thought repeated often enough becomes direction. Since you will hear your own voice more than anyone else's for the rest of your life, make sure it becomes a voice that strengthens you instead of weakening you. Not perfect, not endlessly positive, but honest, patient, and constructive. Because over time, the way you speak to yourself, well, it becomes the way you move through the world, defining your life. This is the Clue Bird, and the voice you're learning to trust might just be your own. Hey, I want to thank you for tuning in today. And as always, I hope you got something useful out of our conversation. And if you did, hey, tell a friend. And don't forget to subscribe. Hot tip. Until our next visit, I would like you to consider what no more excuses might mean to you. Oh, and be sure to give your Clue Bird a little massage tonight.